What's going on, everyone? I am going to talk about a fight that happened, as many of you know, a couple days ago. I'm not exactly sure because I am in former Soviet country of Moldova. It's independent now. It's a former USSR country. So I'm here in a former Russian country of Moldova, and I have an interesting analysis based, on the fight that happened in Vegas, the McGregor versus uh, Khabib, the fight. And I just want to give you background. I am I'm familiar with UFC since the beginning. You know, back in the day, Randy Couture, and even Joe Rogan fighting. But then for a long time, I just kind of got out of it, especially when it became like mainstream. I wasn't really interested in the fights. And for many years, I didn't watch the fights. And then a couple of years ago, I watched the highlights of Colin McGregor, which I think is a fantastic athlete. He's a fantastic athlete. And I don't really watch anybody else but him, and only the highlights. So I'm not a hardcore fan, if that's what you want to call it. And yes, this is a sheep skin, uh, for warmth, and it does keep me very, very warm. And it's kind of interesting because the sheepskin hat Habib had on, I could have bought that yesterday at the festival, um, but it just doesn't look. Just don't like the way it looks. And I live in California. Why would I wear a hat like that? That's for like negative 20 degrees or more weather. It's very warm. And this is keeping me really, really warm. I might bring one with me back to California. But so the fight, I watched the post, not the post, the pre-fighting, pre-fight interviews, and I was very, very impressed by Habib. I don't want to try to pronounce his last name. My wife can easily pronounce it because it is a Russian name. So anyways, a lot of people here were rooting for the Russian. Okay, a lot of people here were rooting for the Russians. And this is a 50-50 Russian and Romanian kind of ethnic background here. So that being said, the pre-fighting interviews, where they talk to each other and stuff, it was very much like Colin McGregor was like lost. He's being very very cocky, very scared, and he was acting like a bully. And Habib was very quiet and very, very put together, very in control of his emotions, and very, it was like, wow, he's Muslim, and he's got his strength physically, and he's poised, and he's got his faculties together, and that's a Muslim that you can be like, yeah, he's Muslim, everybody, yes. And then I watched the highlights, and then after the highlights, what happened? And it's like, wow, all that poise, all that calmness, the demeanor went out the window when he jumped the fence and attacked a spectator, which is also a teammate of his, because it was outside the octagon. It was outside of the cage. So someone said something to him, to his dad, about Islam, about all this stuff. He consciously had to jump the enclosure, jump the fence, and attack. That takes a lot of processes psychologically, subconsciously. His subconscious was taken over. See, his subconscious was taken over so much that he actually jumped the fence. It was almost like second nature. And it's a game. In the end, we know this is a game. It's a game. That's all it is. It's a sport. It's a game. And hey, what's going on, everyone? Yeah, So yeah, so it's a game, and it doesn't matter what anybody says about Islam or anything. All you have to do is live the example as a Muslim, and you let the Creator defend Islam. What are you gonna do by beating somebody up because they said something bad about your religion? That means psychologically, I'll tell you what that means. That means is that if someone says something about your faith, right, and you want to beat them up and you actually beat them up, that basically is a subconscious belief of guilt because you're guilty that you're not following the faith to its tenets, and someone says something bad about it, you have to beat them up to defend the name. That's actually self-guilt that you have because you're not following the tenets and you want to beat somebody else up. That's like really psychological. It's kind of like a bully. A bully bullies somebody because they have an inferiority complex, right? Like if I don't have 100% grasp on something I believe in, I want to try to get other people to believe the same thing as me, so I feel better about my belief. That's all that is. And psychologically, it made a lot of like everything, all his demeanor before the fight, he was very calm. It just went out the window, and then it shows you that Colin McGregor's reaction after that, even when he got sucker punched, it shows you that he has his emotion under control because it's all a game. He didn't go crazy after he got hit. He knows it's a game. It's all a game. And if you don't understand that it's a game as a spectator, and you're taking this so seriously, like you have to defend these people and all that stuff, then you are really caught in this emotional ritual, that's taking place. And it's like you're defending this guy, you're defending this guy, and it's like, for what? It's a game. You don't understand? Like, it's a game. And why would he defend him? Because he says he's Muslim, so what? Like, he didn't have his emotions under control, and yes, he fought him and he won each round. Technically he won, and he did he tapped out. McGregor tapped out, and clearly he was the better fighter. Khabib was the better fighter. But I think by him doing what he did, he lost. He lost the big picture. He might have won the match, but he lost the big game. He lost the big game, big time. And that's my reaction, because everything is like how you act out in the physical is how you think in the mental first. Because whatever you do in the physical, first you have to have that in your mental, and then you act it out. See, it's the second creation. The first creation happens in the mind, happens in the unseen, happens in the darkness, in thought, in the mental reality, in the unseen reality. And then through certain rituals, like for example, through certain rituals, actions, you manifest it in the physical. But that's not the first creation, that's the second creation. So him acting out all that aggression and jumping out of the octagon, that is a product of a certain mindset. What's going on, everyone? Yeah, I just talked about this fight here, but it's really deep and metaphysical, because we have to know this. Everybody should know this, and everybody is a scholar. You know that everybody should be a scholar, because you shouldn't give the title of a scholar to an institution. Why? We give our own power away to institutions, and you're like, hey, you give me the opinion, and then I'll just eat it up. I'll just take whatever you give me. But it's like, who's giving it to you? Those same people that give you that information, they have been taken over by another institution, and that institution is put into prominence by that governing body that says, okay, you can talk about this, you can talk about this, you can't talk about this because it makes me look bad, and it should be based on my views. And then those scholars, they tell that to the masses. But that's dangerous because psychologically, you think that you don't have to do the knowledge, the seeking on your own now, because you're given it to you. It's already made and it's packaged up and given to you. No, you have to do it on your own. This is like a journey, and you have to make it on your own. And it's like you have to understand human nature and psychology, and what are emotions, what are your lower emotions, what is your nafs, what is your soul, what is your newer, right? These things are terminologies that have been kind of lost in our discourse, in our everyday Muslim lives, or even what is it? I mean, or even our spiritual lives. I'm talking about even if you're Christian, even if you're whatever religion you are, it's like most likely your religion has been given to you in a package, and all you do is open the package. It's like, wait, who made the package? So it's like, it's really deep. And you know, I say unbiased Muslim Kabbalistic point of view. That is a system of understanding the makeup of the human nature. You know, like the seen and the unseen. You know, we are in a illusion, and all of the religions, all of the spiritual systems, all of the ancient systems, they all understood that this is just a journey. It's an illusion. It's Maya. It is Gaia. It is a journey. It is an illusion. It's a dream. You know, like we're still in the womb, basically. You know, that's a deep story, but basically, the Kabbalistic understanding is that same. It's below the surface, beneath the surface understanding of all spiritual systems. And it just so happens that the Kabbalah, the Kabbalistic tree of life, the Kabbalistic interpretation has been the best preserved in our Western society. But it didn't start from the people that started the Kabbalah. No, it always existed. That knowledge always existed. And then later on, it got occulted. It got hidden from the masses. And now you have, you know, a certain group of people understanding these concepts, and everybody else is kind of just reacting to reality, you know. But it's like cause and effect. You know, you have every cause has an effect, every effect has a cause. That is a law, you know. Reflection, you know, like you have certain laws, and those laws are told to you in all the spiritual books. It's told to us in the Quran. It's told to Christians in the Bible. It's told to Hindus in the Vedas. It's told to every religious like system. It's in their teachings throughout. But it is beneath the surface, because the surface is the seen reality. It's the seen reality. The seen reality is the it is the tip of the iceberg. Okay, iceberg is just the tip of the iceberg, right? If you look underneath this, beneath the surface, beneath the waters, the primordial waters, right? The surface, beneath the surface, that iceberg is like a mountain. It's humongous. So the tip of the iceberg is reflected as the tree. The tree and the tip of the iceberg is the same thing. The roots are what you don't see. But the roots make up majority of the tree. See, 90. So in quantum physics, scientifically, we know that our eyes, we don't see with our eyes. All our eyes do is refract light. Our eyes refract the light. Okay, it goes in, it gets refracted, and then it gets projected in your mind, and then your pineal gland, all that stuff happens, and you have this neurological experience based on your past experience, and then you have that reaction, and you get memories from your where your memory is stored, and has all these reactions. But every experience is neurological. Okay, so if you don't understand this, you're living in the reaction. You're living in the effect world. And what understanding beneath the surface stuff, which is 9.96% of light. See, our eyes only see 0.04% of the light spectrum. That means 99.96% of whatever we see, I mean, whatever there is unseen. And if the unseen reality is some kind of like scary place for you to be, and every time you are told about the unseen, we can't talk about it, we can't know it, it's bid'ah, this and that. It's like this is not true, actually, because who benefits from you thinking like reacting to things all the time? The people that have constructed this current system, because many people, they're all in reaction. They're reaction based. Their life is reaction based. They see a commercial for a burger, their mouth salivates, and they just want a burger, or they see certain colors, and then subconsciously, a color is a vibration, and that each vibration has a certain tone to it. See, why does it say that people that wear red, they're more authority, they're like red ties, people will believe them more, and you see CEOs and directors, they wear red ties. Why red? Red is a vibration. It's a vibration, and it vibrates to the root energy meridian, which is the root chakra. In Eastern systems, they call it chakra, and the Western scientific term would be the energy meridian. It's just the energy points of the body, and it's signified as the color red. So when you see someone wearing for example, a red tie, psychologically, subconsciously, it's going to trigger certain reactions that are unseen to you in the conscious realm, because consciousness is only 5%, and because we're all like we operate in subconscious, we're on like autopilot 95% of the day, and it's based on your subconscious beliefs, and your subconscious mind takes in anything you give it. So if you give it fear, even though it's a movie, for example, even though you watch a movie, say you go to a movie, and if you're living in the physical illusion, and it's so real to you that you just are reacting to that physical illusion, then that illusion is real to you. You're living in the 0.04% of reality, and you think it's real, when reality is governed by the unseen first, because reality is the second creation. Reality, the seen light, is the second creation. That's what I want to say. And the first creation is the unseen, because it's from the unseen. See, it's from this blackness. Black is not void of light. Black is not void of color. You know, people think that. I mean, can you give me that black notebook? Yeah. So like I can, okay, this is black, right? Okay, I can frame this, right? I can frame this and put it on my wall and be like, every picture that ever existed came from this, which is true because artists, they use a white background and then they draw upon it different shapes and colors, right? But all color comes from black. So when you look at the sky and it's dark, it's empty, and then you see some stars. No, it's not empty. That's energy, you know? So everything comes from the darkness. Everything comes from that realm, you know? And in your mind, they say as above, so below, as within, so without. So whatever you have inside you, if you have a bunch of fear, you have a bunch of guilt, you have a bunch of contempt, for people because you got bullied or this and this happened to you wrong, and then that little bit of contempt is there, a little bit of jealousy is there. You project that in everything you do because that is the level of life that you're living in. And there's different levels, If you have those vibrations, those things in you, whatever you create will have a little bit of that inside of it, so it's just really it's so important to know this, and it took me like 3 years to get to this point, and I don't know everything. And anybody that says they know it, they don't know, because how can you know? Because knowing is infinite, it's infinite, and you can't know everything. You can't even know one thing. It's just a process of unknowing, actually. It's unlearning. It's a process of unlearning things that put you in a box. It's put your light in this box, and then you have to unlearn certain things to let your light loose, and the number one thing you have to do is you have to go within. And in the Kabbalistic tree of life, uh, the root, it's like upside down, So you have a tree, right? You have a tree, and you see the tree. Actually, that's upside down. Because when you look at a picture of a tree and roots, right? If I have a picture here and the top of the tree is here and then the roots are here, when you're looking at it inside your mind, it's inverted. It's upside down and inverted. So the roots are actually the top. The roots are the top, and the seen reality is a manifestation of the roots. So if you want to change your seen reality, you have to change your inside first. See, if you want apple tree to produce really sweet apples, you have to nourish the roots. Period. I mean, with anything, if you want the fruit to be bitter, if you want the apple to be, bitter, then you can do things to the roots and not nourish them as much, and it's gonna manifest as you nourish the roots, the unseen. So if you nourish your mind with what are you nourishing with? Are you nourishing with fear? Are you nourishing it with watching the news every day, and it's like the news is on? Some houses the news is on 24 hours a day. It's like in the background. It's like background sound, and all it is a bunch of Hegelian dialectic, pick this side or that side, and this is bad, this is good. Everything's being decided for you. That's what you're feeding your mind, your subconscious mind, the unseen. And then people are like, oh, I don't know why my life is so messed up. Well, the reason why it's messed up is because you're feeding it all this messed up stuff, and you don't want to understand. You got to quiet the mind. You have to go inside the darkness. You have to meditate. You have to you have to quiet the mind of all this chaos. And a lot of people, they're scared of that because they don't want to see their true self, because they have so much guilt and shame. And but that guilt and shame has been taught to you. You've been taught to feel guilty and feel shameful and feel like you're not good enough, and you should be ashamed of this and that. You know, you should be shy. You know, you've been taught that, and no wonder why nobody wants to face that. You know, because it's very difficult. That's why, you know, like that's why people have the TV on all the time, or the radio on, or if they don't have that, they're on the internet all the time, on their phones, you know, music all the time or something, because it's a distraction to not be lonely, because that's the worst thing, right? Oh, to be alone. It's like, have you ever taken a road trip, like a 5-hour road trip without the radio on? You know, most people can't do that. You know, they'll listen to anything, country music, rather than nothing. But try that, because your ego always wants to, your nafs always wants you to be distracted and be like in a state of noisiness, you know, and hear this or that. But because the nafs is scared of death. See, the nafs is scared of death, because if your nafs is here, right, and you want to move your life up here, you have to be, your nafs has to transform. And you know what the number one fear of people is? It's the fear of death. You know what the number two fear is? The fear of failure. But why do we fear death? You know, there's no such thing as death. It's a transformation thing, because when our physical form is not here anymore, it's just the physical meat suit that is a bunch of matter and stuff in a conscious form. It goes away, but our soul is still going to be there. So there's no really death. So death is an illusion too, you know. So yeah, we'll wrap it up now. But you have to know yourself, and you have to go inside and kind of have a conversation at a higher level. You have to go. Your soul has to have a conversation with your nafs, and it has to heal it. And it says, hey, come back up. Let's go up and change our life. And you change it from the inside out. You know, remember, everything you do in the physical is a effect of a cause. So if you eat a piece of pizza, that all came from a cause and effect. So if you can get to the cause realm, the realm of causality, then you can cause the effect to be more aligned with your core, with your soul. And that's a process. And it takes time. It takes, it really takes going against the grain, you know? It takes unlearning things that you've been attached to. You have to let go. And that's what true faith is, actually. True faith is letting go of the illusion and knowing that the default setting will come into play, and you will have, and you don't have to fear anything. You don't fear anything. You know, that's what true faith is. So yeah, it's really, life is really awesome, you know, and Allah is whatever you think He is. If you think He's the Punisher, then you're going to have a life of punishment and suffering. If you think, whatever you think He is, or I'm not going to say He, whatever you think the Creator is, that's what the Creator is to you, and you're going to manifest that. So hope it was interesting, and it kind of provoked some inner conversation with you. And what I intend to do is plant those seeds in your mind, and it's going to manifest out. It's going to grow, you know, because your subconscious mind takes everything in. Your conscious mind only takes what it wants to see. See, you only see what you want to see, but your subconscious mind, it takes everything in. And that's what's connected to the divine, is your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is the feminine principle too. It's to activate your subconscious mind. You have to activate your feminine principle, which is imagination, which is creativity, which is empathy, sympathy, which is imagination, creativity. Did I say that? Because it's the creative principle. And females are the physical manifestation of the feminine principle. Each of us have this principle, and we have two brains. I mean, we have basically two brains. We have left the left brain and then the right brain. And so the right brain doesn't control the right arm. The right brain controls the left side of the body. Okay, the left brain controls the right side of the body. And guess which hand are we dominant in? Which hand are most people dominant in? The right hand. That means the effect was you're dominant in your right side. That means the left side is dominant, and it has and the right side is, which is the left side, it's suppressed. That's a physical manifestation. That's what it means, and you can do certain exercises to hemisync your brain. You can, that's why they say when you start learning a new language or you learn something new, you activate that right brain. You activate that creative principle. That's when your neurons start firing up and you activate dormant things. And it takes time because it's been atrophied, it's been atrophied. And you have to imagine more. If you can't imagine a better life for you and your family, or you and your family, or your family, then how can you have a better life? You can't. It all starts with your imagination. It starts with your imagination, and then you have to harness those things, and you do be dedicated into putting into motion and kind of like work out that muscle that's been atrophied. Read a book. Don't read a book because it's logical, and start using logic. Logic is the left brain. The left brain is the masculine mind. It is authority. It is logic. It is, mathematics. That's what the left brain is. All the left brain is supposed to do, just like a husband and a wife, or, it's just a protector of the feminine energy. The masculine energy is just a protector of the feminine energy. The feminine energy is the principle, is the creator energy. And all this does, all the left brain, the masculine energy is supposed to just give it structure. Because remember, the left brain is the masculine, and it's the masculine energy. The right brain is the feminine energy, which is creativity. And that's why it has been so demonized throughout history. Females have been demonized throughout history in all different cultures. And it just so happened in the Western Islam, we have adopted that understanding. And that's where we have been in our own detriment, because we've taken everything that our colonizers have told us, and we've believed it. And we have adjusted our true belief, true understanding to their worldview. So yeah, we have to get back into the truth, which is the understanding of the causality, different principles, different truths, which are in the unseen, actually. But yeah, I got a little off track there, but yeah, that's my opinion on the fight. Because when I saw that, I was really amazed, but I wasn't. I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. But I was like, people are defending him, and it's like the same thing as the remember that in Paris, the the people that made the cartoon, Charlie Hebdo or something like that. He made a cartoon, and then people in like India and stuff and different Muslim countries, they started like rioting. You know, it's the same thing. Did you defend them? Then why are you defending this guy? It's the same principle. It's just different, a different, you know, a different. It's just one person instead of a mob. You know, but it's the same energy. See, it's the same energy. It's like, how dare you disrespect my faith? I'm gonna do all this stuff and have a riot. You know, it's like, how dare you disrespect my faith? I'm gonna punch you and make you not disrespect it. It's like that's actually a subconscious reaction to their own their own guilt of not upholding the principles, and then you thinking that you have to defend it physically because it's like to make up for what you don't do in your own life. You know, when it says clearly Islam is protected by Allah, so what does it matter if anybody says anything? So next time someone disses your religion, let them diss it. Who cares? What does it matter to you? Allah says He protected it. There you go. All right, take care, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. And winter is coming. That's why I have this on. All right, take care.